Good morning. Welcome to Yin Yoga. So today we're going to build up to half saddle or full saddle for those of you that feel like you might be ready to go that path. Some of you might be, some of you might not be. So I will offer both of those for you. So you want to make sure that you have the props that you need for that. So if you know that you've got some kind of a knee issue and a lot of tightness in your quads, I would strongly recommend some blocks, some folded blankets, bolster, just to boost you up a little bit to make that pose safer and more comfortable. So let's get started. We'll come to our opening. Now I'm sitting on a blanket, but you don't have to. And just sit however it is that you're comfortable, but find a tall spine. So find length from crown to tail, zipping up. We'll take a slight tuck in the chin. And we'll start to breathe here. As you inhale through the nose, can you find some expansion in the rib cage? And as you exhale through the nose, could you find a little bit more engagement in the belly region? Inhale. Exhale. Maybe even bringing in that Ujjayi pranayama here. Inhale, expand. And exhale. Good. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. We'll lift, 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 touching palms together. Exhale, hands in heart center. So creating the intention for your practice, what would you like to give or receive? The one I'll give you today is relief. And I'll give you different prompts throughout, but the main word is relief. And once you have that set, let's take the arms up overhead. Reach, reach, reach. Roll the hands away from you. Press down, pressing that air down as your arms come down. Let's take a big inhale again. Let's take a side bend to the left. Sits bones are grounded. Now, I have a tendency sometimes to roll forward. So bring that awareness in, shoulders and hips in alignment here as you reach. Breathe and expand that. Breathe, not the breath cage, the rib cage. Breathe and expand the rib cage. And then you have options. You can stay here. You can come out. You can bend that elbow, side bending deeper, sits bone still grounded. Maybe you would rather open up towards the ceiling, or maybe you'd rather belly button in, take a C curve roll, forehead in the direction of the knee, but not touching. Breathe and expand. And inhale and lengthen. Exhale, use your obliques, your side abs to bring you back up. Big inhale and reach. Exhale, taking that back over. Sits bones grounded. Find that nice expansion in the rib cage. Come back to your intention, release, or whatever it was that you chose. And then choosing your path, staying here, coming out. You can side bend deeper. You can open towards the ceiling, or you can find that C curve roll. Remember, if you're taking C curve roll, belly button in, forehead in the direction of that knee, but not touching. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, come back to center. Hands to heart center. Let's take the hands behind the head. Shoulders are gonna relax, elbows are gonna be out, but they don't necessarily have to be out as wide as possible. So a comfortable width here, and just inhale to the left, exhale to the right. Now, I have a tendency for motion sickness, so I'm gonna close my eyes here. If you need to do that, that's okay to do the same. Okay. And we're just gonna keep this gentle. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now, taking the arms up, rotate to the left, arms come down. And we'll lift, rotate to the right, arms come down. Lift, rotate left, arms come down. Lift, rotate right, arms come down. You're nice and long in that spine. Rotate left, arms come down, they'll stay down, rolling shoulders back, maybe looking a little bit more behind you. Breathe and expand. I have a tendency to always grip with the hips. My knees kind of want to go like this. So maybe release something here. Breathe and expand. Release that breath. Inhale and lift. Exhale, center. Exhale to the right. Arms come down, rolling shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. Breathe and expand. So remember, anytime you're in a twist, if you can't expand the rib cage, you're too deep into that twist. Practice, practice, practice will give you the progress to come into deeper twists, not cranky. Good. Inhale and lift. Exhale, come to center. Take any little movement here that would feel good to you. Maybe that's, a neck stretch, a neck roll, a wrist roll, spinal roll, whatever feels good, take it. And then when you're ready, I'm going to come off of this blanket here because I was sitting on it. Good. We're going to come to a windshield wiper. So I'm going to show you this from this angle. So take your hands behind you. Knees feet can be about hip width apart or a little bit wider. So kind of just choose as to which way works for you. And I'm just going to go side to side. Now I want my belly button to be in here because the spine is going a little bit into rotation. How deep you take your windshield wipers depends on your body. So remember, pain, numbness, tingling, burning, never normal sensation. So if you feel those at any time, you want to back off until you don't. Good. From here, good. Now we're ready. We're a little bit looser. We're going to come into the cobbler's pose. I'm going to bring this blanket back in here. Good. Just to sit on. Got my timer ready. So I'm going to take the soles of my feet together here. Good. And I don't want my heels to be too close into the groin. I want to give my body some space. If you are really tight in the hips, and you'll know that because the knees kind of will want to jack up a little bit here, it's going to be more comfortable if you fill in that space with something. So that might be pillows, it might be folded blankets. You don't have to have them that thick, but just whatever it is you need to fill that in will work. And then from here, zipping up nice and tall with a long spine. On an exhale, we're going to come forward. Stop right before you meet your max. And we're going to be here for 2 minutes. And I don't want my chin to come down to my chest. So I still want that length. And I'm breathing and expanding. Now, your body will let you know when it's a good idea to sink deeper. And you'll know that because it's going to try to do that on the exhale. So breathing. Coming back to the intention of release. Releasing tension. Where could you release a little bit more tension in the body? We're at the halfway point here. So some of you are going to keep a long spine. Others are going to start to play with coming into a C curve here. It's okay to let the head drop a little bit more if you're going into C curve. Don't force your forehead and your toes to touch if your body's not ready to go there. Release tension. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, based on where you went, how you went there, carefully come up from there. Bring your knees in. We're going to come into another little windshield wiper. So I'm just going to stay on my blanket for this one, taking hands behind, maybe scooting a little bit more forward. Take your feet as wide as you need and just windshield wiper that out. All right. When you feel good, when you've kind of worked out any residual tension that might be there, we're going to come into a supported back bend. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my folded blanket and use that as my support. So you don't want to go necessarily too high in this one, but you do have options. Some of you only need just a little bit of a lift. Some of you are going to follow me just a little bit more. You can come here, but again, careful that it's not too thick. So I'm going to take this right under the tailbone. I'm just going to kind of scoot down here. Good. And then I'm just going to come back. I don't want anything under my head or my neck. And then you've got a couple options here. We're going to be here today for 3 minutes. Some people's backs do better if you have bendy knees. Other people are fine taking legs long. Others are fine taking arms long behind you. So find what you need. Breathe and expand. And coming to the intention of release. Releasing tension. By releasing tension, I can cultivate or invite in relaxation. So by releasing tension, I can cultivate or invite in relaxation. Where do you hold tension? The face, the neck and throat, the shoulders, the belly, the hips. And release that tension. I'm bringing in that Ujjayi Pranayama, the victorious breath, that ocean breath, that vibration in the back of the throat breath. Good. Good. And when you're ready, good. We'll carefully release from there. Now, if you took your arms behind you, just bring them by your side. If you took your legs long in front, go ahead and bring a bend in the knees there. Good. And then maybe wiggle just a little bit and then press into the feet and remove whatever it was that you used under there to get your supported back bends. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle side to side again. And maybe it would feel good to you right now too to take knees into the chest, maybe grabbing behind the knees and giving a tug. So finding that length again from crown to tail. Breathe and expand. And when you're ready, carefully roll over to your right or left side, the side that works best for your body, and then press yourself up to a seat. Now I'm a little bit more open in my hips now, so I'm not going to use my blanket when we go to half butterfly with twist. But if you need to sit up on a blanket or block or bolster, please feel free to do so. I'm going to take my left leg out to the left and my right foot into the thigh. And what we're going to do here, and I've got flexion in this foot, support the back of the knee here too if you're tight in the backside. We're going to rotate and fold. And then some of you are going to decide if that's where you stay or if you're going to follow me through a deeper twist. If the rotation and the fold is not for you, just get a little side bend here, okay? You're going to be working that same area. So you choose where you need to be. Otherwise, if you're following me, big inhale, exhale, rotate left, fold left. Breathe and expand. So that intention of release. We talked about releasing tension. What about releasing resistance? Release resistance. Some of you are going to stay where you are. Others are going to follow me through a deeper twist. So if you're going to follow through a deeper twist, the left arm's going to come on the inside of the left leg. You can grab, the shin, the foot, whatever it is you can reach. Right hand's going to come somewhere on the outside of that left leg or foot. That might be enough for some people, or maybe you can continue to twist, opening up towards the right. Again, breathe and expand. Release. Release resistance. Release resistance. Good. So from here, if you took the deeper twist, come out of the deeper twist, and then carefully come out of the big twist. All right, we're going to come into a little bit of a break there. So the other leg's going to come out. Good. You can sit up on a blanket or pillow here. Careful, we don't want the legs out at their widest. So here's my widest. I'm going to bring that in a little bit. Your body will give you what it needs here. And we're only going to do this one for 1 minute. This is just kind of a bridge to the next one. We'll keep a flat spine here. Big inhale, feet, knees, toes, hips facing the ceiling. Exhale, hinge forward. When you can come no more with a long spine, bring the hands down. Breathe and expand. Good, releasing tension. Releasing resistance. You're breathing and expanding. Remember, the body will let you know when it's a good idea to come deeper, and I'm still keeping a long spine here. Good. From here, carefully walk yourself back up, and we're going to take that back to half butterfly on the other side. So my right leg, I'm just going to keep it where it is. I'm going to bring my left foot into that thigh. So remember here, you can side bend if that's what you need, or rotate and fold with me. So whenever you're ready, big inhale and reach, exhale, rotate and fold. Come in here. Coming back to the intention of release. Releasing resistance. So what are you resisting? Breathe. Good. Now, some of you are going to stay where you are. Others are going to rotate a little bit deeper. So if that's you, right arm's going to come in on the inside of this right leg, grabbing the foot. Left hand's going to come somewhere on the outside of the right leg or foot. And maybe we rotate more towards the left. So releasing resistance. Releasing resistance in order to flow in your own way. Releasing resistance in order to flow, move in your own way. From here, if you took the deeper twist, carefully come out of there and walk it back up. Good, back to center. All right, we're gonna take one more windshield wiper here, and then we're gonna get into the half saddle or the full saddle. So I'm just gonna go ahead and prepare for that by coming to my side, hands behind me, my belly button is in, and just windshield wiper. Good. So I'm excited to bring full saddle back. It's something that I had to give up for quite a while, but as my knees started healing for the most part in half saddle, they are now back ready to come back into full saddle. So I will offer that for you, for those of you that want that. Okay, so coming into half saddle or full. Those of you with known knee issues, the higher you sit, the easier and the more comfortable you will make this. Now, I'm going to come to a full saddle here, but I'm going to show you half. So I'm just going to go ahead and set myself up here because I have to sit higher for full saddle. All right. So, and then those of you that are going to go back, especially if you're over the age of 35, have any previous injuries, have a cushion back there. Don't go all the way back for yourself. So half saddle people, you're going to start by taking the left leg forward, and you'll roll over to the left side and grab something on your right side here. And then you'll just put that foot behind you. Now, you want to make sure that the calf and everything and your toes don't get all tangled up into what you're doing. And it's okay if your knee is not directly in line with the hip, and you can rub and do different things when you feel okay here. If you want to start going back, you can take your hands back and start doing so. But you don't want this knee to lift up and float and bounce around. Okay, that's very, very risky. So be mindful of that. Those of you coming into full saddle with me, I get into full saddle from a hero's pose. So I'm just going to come here. So I'm on my knees. I'm going to use that folded blanket as my prop. Okay. So here's my full saddle. I've got kind of my calves out to the side and my toes are not tangled up. And this is where I'm going to be here. And we're going to go here for a couple minutes. And so I'm just going to be, and you can always just kind of massage around here, getting a little bit more comfort, elasticity. I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is in that connective tissue. Still zip up from pubic bone to behind the navel. We've talked about releasing tension, releasing resistance. What about releasing indecision? That's a big one these days. We're being pulled in 500 different directions. What should I do first? What should I do last? What should I do in between? Should I even do this at all? What happens if I do that? What will happen if I do that? So releasing indecision. Okay. Okay. Now, those of you that are practicing full saddle, you're going to do this twice because we'll do 2 minutes on the other side for half saddle as well. But those of you now in half or full that want to play with coming back just a little bit, you can. Remember, this is an option, never a requirement. Not everybody is meant to go back here. So, and again, you want your knees to be grounded, not floating and bouncing in the air. So this is going to be the extent of my full saddle coming back today. I'm breathing. Thinking about releasing indecision. Good. And when you're ready, good. If you went back, nod that chin, carefully come up in a way that's good for your body. So that might not be the way that you saw me come out of here. And then if you went into full saddle, just kind of come forward gently, come out of there. If you went into the half saddle, roll over onto your left side so you can release that right leg. And then we're all going to kind of do like a wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here, a bouncy bounce, a rub, 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 maybe pointing and flexing the feet, rolling them in one direction and then in the other. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll take that to the other side. So from here, if you're going into half saddle, your right leg is going to be long. You might want to move your props over into the other, kind of the other side. So when you take your left leg back, the foot's not going to get tangled up in things. Just kind of be mindful that that's what you're going to do there. So to get into there, right leg's going to come forward, roll on over onto your right side, grab the left leg. Good. Take that there. Rub, rub, rub. Remember, knee is grounded. Those of you that are coming into the full, good. I'm going to come back into this from my hero's pose. Good. So I've got a leg on each side of my folded blanket. Good. I'm going to come right here. 2 minutes. Good. Now, I'm still going to rub again. Aren't you glad we're not doing this for 4 straight minutes? I'm not sure if I'm ready to handle that one quite yet. 3 minutes might be the max that I work up to this one. All right. So coming back to intention. We talked about releasing indecision. What about releasing indecision in order to cultivate and encourage or bring in certainty. So releasing indecision to cultivate and encourage more certainty. Now, that's easier said than done. That takes practice like everything else. Good. Now, those of you that want to stay upright, stay upright. Those of you that are going to work going back a little bit, find your support. Good. Knees are grounded. Remember, they don't lift. And I'm going to tuck my chin and look straight ahead too. I just don't like how it feels to just keep my head back here willy-nilly in space. And my belly button is in. And I'm breathing, releasing tension, releasing resistance, releasing indecision, hopefully. Good. So when you're ready, nod that chin a little bit more in the way that's best for you. Come out of your full. If you're in the half, good. You're going to roll over onto your right side to release the left. I'm going to come forward here to come out of my full. Good. And then just come back to that nice seat, both legs forward. Good. You can do a bouncy bounce. You can do a rub, pointing and flexing the feet, rolling ankles in one direction, and then in the other. Excellent work. All right, let's take this into a child's pose here. So I'm going to move my bolster out of the way. I'm going to come off of my extra blanket. And I'm going to give you an option here on this one too. So if you want, a little bit more of a lymphatic flush, you can bring blocks in here. I'm actually going to keep this folded blanket over here and fold my other blanket and have a little bit of a softer surface to do that. And so when you're ready, this is going to be a 3-minute child's pose here. So remember, if coming back is not your jam, come up a little bit and then let yourself work in there. So from here, knees can be together as wide as the mat or somewhere in between. Big toes can touch or not. You can take your arms straight in front. You can have them at an angle propped up like I'm going to do, or maybe hands when I come back to the ankles. Okay. So from here, find yours. And we've talked about now releasing tension, releasing resistance, releasing indecision. What about releasing fear? That's a big one for me that tends to come up all the time. Releasing fear. So sometimes it can be more comfortable to hold on to fear than moving past it, because that sometimes can take more work. So releasing fear. What about releasing fear to invite in courage? Releasing fear to invite in courage. So if you're looking at me right now, I think I just kind of put myself into a different frog pose variation versus child's pose. But that's okay. That's what my body wants me to kind of go into. So I'm just letting it do that. So yeah, just let your body kind of go where it needs to go here. And if you need to come out, come out. Releasing fear to cultivate courage. Release and expand. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, based on where you went with that or where your body went with that, carefully come out of there in the way that's best for you. Good. I'm going to move my folded blankets out of the way. And then I'm going to come down onto the belly for a little crocodile release here. So making a little pillow with my hands, I'm taking my legs about mat width apart. Hips, knees, and toes will turn out away. You can wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I'm just feeling that energy reset. And releasing in order to foster relaxation. Good. Now you can stay here longer if you want that or need that. But when you're ready, we're going to come over onto our backs. So in the way that's best for you, carefully come over onto your back. And I'm just going to move some more props out of the way here. We're going to take this into a supine twist, which is just a twist that's on the back. And let me reset the timer here. Good. And we're just going to do this very basic. So we're going to take the knees into tabletop position. So knees over hips, shins parallel to the floor. Arms can be out to the side. I'm going to take my knees over to the right. I want to try and keep my left shoulder grounded, and I want to breathe. Now, some people might also do well with a blanket or something like that between the knees if you want that. So listen to your body, give it what it needs. So of all the releases, releasing the tension, releasing resistance, releasing indecision, releasing fear. Here's the biggest one, or I think one of the biggest ones of our current society, releasing busyness. Releasing busyness. Releasing busyness. And then when you're ready, head will come back to center. Let's do this gentle. So take one leg at a time and come back to center. And you can wiggle, wiggle, wiggle side to side, bringing knees into the chest, maybe taking head and neck from side to side a little bit here. Good. And then we'll take this into the other side. So Back into knees over hips, shins parallel to the floor, arms to the side. Grab a little timer here. Good. We'll take the knees over to the left. Good. Keeping right shoulder grounded, maybe as you look to the right, breathe and expand. Good. Releasing busyness. Releasing busyness allows us to heal or bring in healing. Releasing busyness allows for healing. Your body cannot heal itself if it's jacked up, moving around from one thing to the next constantly. It's okay to have breaks. It's okay to have free time, unstructured. Release busyness. Good. And from here, head will return to center. One leg at a time will come back to center. Good. Bringing the knees into the chest and rock, rock, rock side to side. Maybe taking head and neck from side to side. And from here, we're going to take a nice prompted, relaxing Shavasana here. So I'm going to go ahead and set myself up for comfort. So I'm going to bring a blanket under my head. I'm going to use my feet to bring in my bolster. Good. This is because my hips and my hip flexors and quads tend to relax a little bit better when I have something under them because they are just naturally tight. So that just helps for better relaxation, makes my back feel better. Good. So once you're in your Shavasana state, see if you can make yourself about 10% more comfortable. Good. And then just listen to my prompts. Relaxing the toes. Relaxing the feet. Relaxing the left calf, the left shin, the right calf, the right shin, the left knee, the right knee. Relaxing the back of the left thigh, the front of the left leg, the back of the right thigh, the front of the thigh. Relaxing through the tailbone. And relaxing through the low back, the lower abdomen, the pelvic region, the right hip, the left hip, the left glute, the right glute. Relaxing the belly, the mid back, relaxing the rib cage, the chest, both sets of fingers, both hands, left forearm, right forearm, left elbow, right elbow, left biceps, left triceps, right biceps, right triceps, left shoulder, right shoulder, the upper chest, the upper back, the back of the neck, the throat, the jaws, the cheeks, the eyes, the back of the head, the forehead, the crown. Sink in and release. Taking some deep breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or invite movement of fingers and toes. Choose stillness or taking knees into the chest, choosing to keep the upper body grounded or maybe C curving it up, giving yourself a full body hug. And choosing stillness, removing any props out of the way if you used any during your Shavasana time, taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, point and flex through the feet, bend and stretch through the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment. Take all the time that you need here. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you, maybe the one we started with. Noticing how you feel, finding that nice tall spine. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach and lengthen, touching palms together. Exhale, hands and heart center. Coming back to that intention of release one more time, or whatever it was that you chose for yourself. And we'll take thumbs to forehead for good and true thoughts, to our lips for good and kind words, and to our hearts for open and loving hearts, knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe, may you stay well, may you always find a way or path towards releasing things that are no longer serving you. Namaste.